Tonight's host is one of the most respected financial journalists in the country. He is currently celebrating his 25th anniversary with NBC's cable channel, CNBC, and his fourth book, The Stranger in My Genes, a memoir about a DNA test that changed his life, was just published. He received his bachelor's degree in journalism in 1980 from CSUN. In 2000, the university honored him with its Distinguished Alumnus Award. Please welcome the co-anchor of CNBC's Closing Bell, Bill Griffith.
Good evening, everybody. I hate to interrupt the party. Usually we're meeting out in Agora Hills or Westlake Village, but tonight we're at the iconic Beverly Wilshire Hotel. This is one of the real historic venues in Los Angeles. And we welcome you to this celebration this evening of a wonderful institution, the Nazarian School of Business and Economics, as we celebrate 50 years. I'll tell you a very quick story. The very first time that I found myself here in this ballroom at the Beverly Wilshire was in my senior year of high school. I went to Reseda High School. Anyone? Anyone? We have regents in the house tonight? I don't believe that. Bank of America, this is in the spring of 1974, Bank of America sponsored a program for all the seniors in high school in Los Angeles. Each school was to appoint a student or choose a student to participate. So I was chosen for Reseda, and I competed against students in the Valley. They broke it up into regions. And they put us in a room with judges. These were business people from our area. And they sat us down, gave us a topic to talk about, and then watched as we discussed this topic. Well, I came in first for the San Fernando Valley. It gets better. So I'm then to compete against the other winners of regions in Los Angeles. And we came to the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. We met in one of the conference rooms here. We sat in a semicircle, they gave us a topic, and in front of a group of business leaders, we discussed this topic for whatever period of time. Then we came back that evening and we sat here in this ballroom when they awarded the prizes. Now, first prize was $1,000 from Bank of America, second prize was $750, and third prize was $500. There were, 10 students. Well, I came in second in this competition, so I made $750. And do you know that that paid for the first 3 years I spent at Cal State Northridge? So thank you, B of A. As a business journalist and a proud Matador alumnus, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to this evening's celebration as we honor the 50 years of educational excellence in business at CSUN and this transformation we have seen over that time from business programs in the early days to a School of Business and Economics to finally the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics, one of the top business schools in the nation today. Now, if you take a quick look at the program that's on your seat, you'll find a list of the 50 fabulous business alumni representing a small elite sample of the success of Nazarian College's 55,000 alumni who have gone through the business school at Cal State Northridge. And we're going to be recognizing some of these extraordinary entrepreneurs and business leaders who are with us tonight throughout the evening. In fact, I'd like to start that process right now. The Fab 50 honorees, we are calling them. When I call your name, we're going to do this in groups this evening. When I call your name right now, please rise so that we can honor your achievements. And I'd like to ask everybody to hold your applause until I get to the last person that we're mentioning. And we're doing this in alphabetical order, in case you're wondering. Our first honoree is Alfonso Arias, the class of 1965 Business Administration. My buddy Grant Ashley, the class of 1978 in accounting, at table number 1. Where'd he go? Ivan Axelrod, the class of 1972, Business Administration. Anthony Barth, class of 1984, in Accounting Theory and Practice. Thomas Block, the class of 1968, in Finance. Harvey Bookstein, the class of 1970, in Business Administration. Harvey, as you probably already know, received an honorary doctorate from CSUN this past spring in 2016. Stefan Botha, the class of 1971 in Business Administration. Carl Caranday, class of 1987, Organizational Systems Management. Dennis DeYoung, class of 1987 in Finance and Real Estate. Give them all a great hand. And we'll honor more as the evening progresses. And by the way, you can read more about their many career accomplishments in your program guide and see just how far their CSUN degree has carried them. Now, you know, at many events that you'll attend, you might be asked to put this away. Now this, Diane Harrison, is a BlackBerry. But you might be asked to put away your iPhone. You really would be asked to put away your Samsung Galaxy Note 7. You'd be out the door. But anyway, we're not asking you to do that this evening. We want you to use your smartphone this evening to help us document this fabulous occasion. So spend the evening at dinner, throughout the evening, taking your pictures, tweet, go to Facebook, go to Instagram, whatever social media platform you use, and we ask that you use the hashtag CSUN, Nazarian50, and Fab50. Thank you for all of that. We appreciate that. Our first speaker this evening is entering her 5th year at Northridge. Dr. Diane Harrison is the 5th president of CSUN. She's recognized for her leadership and service in higher education and other fields. She has served on more than 80 boards and committees of national, state, and local organizations. She holds a PhD in social work from Washington University in St. Louis and a Master's of Social Work and a Bachelor's in American Studies, both from the University of Alabama. She's known for her commitment to students, academic excellence, and comprehensive development. President Harrison has a reputation for building a strong partnership with public and private organizations, enabling students, faculty, and staff to cross institutional boundaries and engage in innovative instruction. And I think it's indicative of what's going on tonight. Would you help me welcome, please, our wonderful president at CSUN, Dr. Diane F. Harrison.
Good evening. Thank you, Bill. I keep trying to tell him that BlackBerries are really old school, but he still uses his, so good for him. And if I had been one of those judges, you would have won first place. Can we give Bill a hand for coming out here from New York City to help us? So tonight is a celebration of CSUN's David Nazarian College of Business and Economics, and it comes at a time of significant momentum across the university. Now, the second largest public master's level institution in the country, CSUN delivers award-winning undergraduate and graduate programs for nearly 40,000 students annually, and counts among our alums 330,000 individuals who elevate Southern California and beyond. Since our founding in 1958, CSUN has made a significant and long-term economic impact on the region and the state of California, generating nearly $1.9 billion in economic impact and generating nearly 12,000 jobs every year. The Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation recognized CSUN as its 2015 Eddie Award winner for our positive economic impact, joining Caltech, USC, and UCLA as the only universities to that date to win the award. But CSUN is also a social elevator, serving more students on Pell Grants than any other institution in California. We're actually second in the United States. CSUN is, yes. We're one of the most diverse universities in the country. We've been recognized by Insight into Diversity, Diverse Issues in Higher Education, and the National Role Models for Diversity Conference. We rank 13th in awarding bachelor's degrees to underrepresented minority students and 7th in awarding bachelor's degrees to Latino students. We serve, thank you. We serve the 13th largest Jewish student population, and we also enroll the largest number of deaf and hard of hearing students of any U.S. state university. EdSmart.org named CSUN 5th in the country for advancing America's economic progress, citing CSUN students who go on to graduate at higher rates and earn more as alumni than peer institutions. And I think it's reflected in this room tonight. We excel at providing access to a high-quality education. The Hollywood Reporter ranked CSUN's film and music programs in the top 25 in the country. Variety magazine concurred, ranking CSUN's film program among the top 40 in the world. Thank you, John Stahl. A key component of CSUN's strength is its place as a hub of innovation and research. The journal Nature recently named CSUN a rising star in science. We joined the list along with Stanford, Carnegie Mellon, NASA, University of Michigan, Penn State, University of Pennsylvania. CSUN was the only public university in California on this list of 25 institutions. Thank you. Entrepreneurial activity is flourishing across our campus, including through the LACI at CSUN partnership, a business incubator and satellite of the LA Clean Tech Incubator that was recently named by UBI Global as the #3 university-associated business incubator in the world. Thank you, Fred Walty, who's here tonight. And congratulations. A leading catalyst for this momentum is the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics. Throughout the night, you'll hear more about the excellence happening throughout the college, but I want to highlight some of the people who are the driving force for our business students. For example, Dean Kenneth Lord is helping our faculty to shine with his work as Dean of the college. Professor Lois Shelton's work globally and nationally exposes our students to unique learning opportunities. She is leading the effort that is bringing the United States Association of Small Business and Entrepreneurship National Conference to Los Angeles next year, helping us to elevate CSUN's reputation and visibility. Professors James Chong and Michael Phillips received international recognition by winning the William F. Sharp Award for Finance Paper of the Year. This is not an easy task. But let me tell you a minute about their work. Their work has informed the trading decisions of the Nazarian College student investors who are managing a portion of the CSUN endowment funds as part of their course. So they learn how to do it with actual hands-on learning. And let me tell you the best part. With these professors and our students, they're beating the market. They're beating the market in the process. Now, I know Dennis DeYoung is here somewhere, so Dennis, I want you to close your ears for just 10 seconds, because I need to talk to James and Michael about the returns. Yeah? I suggest we all might want to talk to them. The Managing Director of Career Education and Professional Development, Bob Sheridan, is bringing alumni and students together, connecting Matador mentors with the next generation of Los Angeles business professionals. Professor Kristen Walker has led her students to receive recognition from the American Marketing Association and has partnered with Fox Sports to give her marketing students real-world experience. And thank you. And finally, Professor and Bookstein Chair in Taxation, Rafi Efrod, is helping thousands in our community through the Bookstein Tax Clinic and the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. These are just a few of the examples of individuals who are inspiring the thousands of future business leaders at CSUN. And thanks to tonight's sponsors, we are fortunate to have 85 of our students join us as we celebrate. Can we take a moment to recognize our students? Please stand up, students. Please stand. Students, stand up. Thank you. These students are our future. And I hope the students, and I know the students, will appreciate those in the audience who have gone before them and can help pull them into leadership and a productive future for themselves and their families. So thank you all. Supercharging this momentum is the leadership and philanthropy of those in this room. There are so many people who have been incredibly generous with their time and their money, and I hesitate to single out anyone. However, since there is one name on the college, I think it would be okay for me to thank David Nazarian. and Angela for their transformative gift to the college. And I have to tell you, with all sincerity, David has been extraordinarily generous with his time and his relationships. And so please help me thank him one more time for everything. Thank you all. I could go on praising the people who have literally sacrificed so much to make this college a powerhouse and bragging about our faculty and exceptional students. However, I believe I need to leave something else for the rest of the program speakers to say, and something tells me you may want to eat your dinner, as do I. So thank you so much for being here, for celebrating 50 years of elevating Los Angeles and beyond through the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics. Enjoy your dinner.
What a great job Diane has done in her 5 years. Give her a great hand for President Harrison. She'll be out that door any second now. And I hope our students realize the unique opportunity that you have coming to this institution and having a personal relationship with the benefactor whose name is on the school. That is very unique. You don't get that at Wharton, you don't get that at Harvard, you get that at Nazarian, and I think you should take advantage of that. We thank you again for that, David. All right. We do have an excellent reminder that the greatness of a center of higher education is really a reflection of the people who teach and learn at it. And before we break for dinner, but I think you've already done that anyway, I'd like to recognize more of our fabulous 50. Now, as your names are called, please rise for your well-deserved recognition, and please try to hold your applause, but I understand. It's okay. Our next group includes John Dokes, the class of 1992 in marketing. Elaine Hastings Adele, the class of 1981 in business administration. Earl Enzer, the class of 1983 in finance. Brian Green, the class of 1994 in marketing. John Golish, the class of 1972 in business administration. Frank Heberdes, the class of 1972 in business administration. Paul Jennings, the class of 1985 in marketing. Mitchell Koch, class of 1980 in accounting. Gary Leff, class of 1965 in business administration. Give them all a great hand. Now, I'd like to ask you to take a moment to turn your attention to the screens on either side of the room here as we acknowledge the extraordinary sponsors of tonight's program who are also listed in your program guide. Starting with the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics at CSUN, we wish to thank the following sponsors for their generosity in helping to make this celebration possible. We start with our diamond sponsor, Y&S Nazarian Family Foundation. That means thank you to Jonas and Soraya Nazarian and the entire Nazarian family. Diamond sponsor Ducera Partners. Thank you to Michael Kramer, the founding partner and Fab 50 alumnus that we'll be honoring a little bit later. Michael would have loved to have been here tonight, but he's on Wall Street, I happen to know, a great friend of mine. But we're pleased to welcome his father, Stan, who is a Nazarian College alumnus, and his stepmother, Shirley, who are with us tonight. Thank you for being with us tonight. Platinum sponsors KPMG. We thank you, Fab 50 alumni Carl Carande, who flew in from New York to join us, and Mark Wolf as well. The Sterling Group, we thank Frank Hevedes, founder and Fab 50 alumnus, who came all the way from Houston with his wife Michelle for this event. And YNS Nazarian Family Foundation, yes, they mounted that diamond sponsorship with a platinum band of some kind, but we thank the Nazarians once again. Our gold sponsors include Aristotle Capital Management. We thank Fab 50 alumnus Richard Schweitzer. There's Bank of Hope. We thank Fab 50 alumnus and chairman of the Nazarian College Advisory Board and director of the bank, David Malone. Saw David earlier this evening, and CEO Kevin Kim. Ernst & Young, we thank Fab 50 alumnus Jeff Rosen. Holthouse, Carlin and Van Triety. We thank Phil Holthouse, the founding partner of the firm. One Source by PCS. We thank Fab 50 alumnus Gary Leff for that sponsorship. SBE, there are the Nazarians again. We thank Sam Nazarian, the CEO of SBE, and Stefan Botha, Fab 50 alumnus who came out from Naples, Florida with his wife Jenny to be with us for our event tonight. We thank you for that. We also want to thank Ronald W. Burkle Foundation, a wonderful last-minute addition to our silver sponsors. Thank you, Ron, for your support of the Nazarian College. And we also thank all of our silver, bronze, and student sponsors for their gracious support in tonight's program. You can look for their generous sponsorships in the program guide and on the screens while you enjoy dinner and conversation. So we give all of our sponsors a round of applause tonight. Thank you very much. Now, during dinner, we will be listening to CSUN student musicians Adam Hirsch, Ben McPeak, and Daniel Massey. They are terrific. You've already heard part of them. They're going to be entertaining us during dinner. Bon appetit, everybody. I'll see you later at dessert. Thank you. I would ask if you're having a good time, but I already know the answer to that question, right? By the way, as you enjoy this scrumptious meal and dessert, let's thank the people who are bringing it to our table. It's not an easy job. The wait staff here at the Beverly Wilshire. And as you enjoy your dessert, I ask that you turn your attention to one of these two monitors here for a short video that captures some of the highlights of the last 50 years and of the present. Watch.
"50 years ago, business in Los Angeles had a different face. Different industries employed a different workforce. And a still new California State University campus in Northridge launched a School of Business and Economics. As Los Angeles grew and changed, so did CSUN and its business college. Now one of the largest universities in the country, with more than 40,000 students and 330,000 alumni, CSUN is a driving force for business in Southern California. A place where visions flourish, innovation soars, and entrepreneurs propel the region forward every day. The Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation recognized CSUN as its 2015 Eddie Award winner for its positive economic impact, joining Caltech, USC, and UCLA as the only universities to win the award. Nature magazine recently named CSUN a rising star for research. Joining Stanford, Carnegie Mellon, and NASA, CSUN was the only public university in California on a list of 25 institutions. The Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Money Magazine, and others have all touted CSUN and the impact of its programs. Businesses in every industry come to CSUN to experience the catalytic power of its students, the faculty, and the alumni of this powerhouse, which generates $1.9 billion and more than 11,700 jobs for the economy each year. Delivering more than economic impact, CSUN is also a social elevator, serving more students on Pell Grants than any other institution in California. CSUN is also one of the most diverse universities in the country, with award-winning arts and cultural programming offered at CSUN's Valley Performing Arts Center. The music industry influence of KCSN 88.5 and nationally ranked film and music programs, CSUN enlightens and invigorates the world's entertainment capital. Dozens of centers and programs focusing on everything from education to health to domestic violence prevention serve thousands of Angelenos every day. All of this is done with an eye on the needs of today's Los Angeles. From a modest opening enrollment of 438 to nearly 7,800 students on campus today, the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics has grown to become one of the 10 largest accredited business schools in the nation, consistently ranking among the top in the state. The Nazarian College reflects the rich cultural tapestry of California and has helped the business community discover the wealth of talent found in our region's diversity. A leader in changing the face of business over the last 50 years, the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics has grown its percent of female students from the low teens to more than 40, and the percent of Latino students from the single digits to nearly 40. With 50,000 graduates, the college is one of the strongest pipelines of talent and future leaders for the region's business community. The college's accreditation from the Association to Advanced Collegiate Schools of Business places CSUN among the top 5% of business degree granting institutions in the world. The Nazarian College's part-time MBA is ranked as one of the nation's best by U.S. News and World Report. The college consistently ranks among Princeton Review's best business schools and Financial Planning Magazine's best schools for financial planners. The bachelor's program in Accounting and Informational Systems is ranked the third best in the nation by College Choice, ahead of schools like Cornell, USC, Michigan, Texas, and UC Berkeley. Visionary entrepreneur and philanthropist David Nazarian saw the potential to help his alma mater and make an even more significant impact by investing in the College of Business. Other business leaders and alumni are joining him to bolster the college, helping CSUN business students rise higher and lift us all. Supporters are providing new opportunities for students from low-income homes, enhancing professional development networks, strengthening the real estate program, expanding entrepreneurship training and mentorship, supporting programs to expand leadership potential and opportunities for women, deploying the latest technology and software in labs and classrooms, and lifting the college to new heights. The Nazarian College helps students reach their greatest potential and impact. They rise higher, and when they rise, we all do. During its first 50 years, the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics created a new vision for business education. We invite you to join us in continuing to change the face of business over the next 50 years.
How great is that? Now that's the past and that is the present. But now let's look to the future as we hear from the Dean of the College of Business and Economics, Dr. Kenneth Lord, who's going to share a few remarks about some of the new initiatives poised to propel this college, this great business school, into the next 50 years. Say hello to Dean Ken Lord.
Good evening, dear friends of CSUN and the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics. When I came to CSUN about 3.5 years ago, I knew I was coming to an institution that probably more than any other I had worked for over my career was creating opportunity for an amazingly diverse and highly deserving student population. What I did not fully appreciate then was that it was on the cusp of a thrilling potential to achieve recognition of one of the world's great business schools. Tonight, we celebrate 50 incredible years. From that time, a half-century ago, when San Fernando Valley State College charged the first business dean to create a School of Business Administration and Economics from a small department, through the historic and transformational gift of 1982 alumnus, David Nazarian, that in 2014 made a statement to the world that the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics is on the rise. Nowhere is that more evident than in the phenomenal contributions of our 55,000 alumni, who are represented so well by the fabulous 50 we celebrate here tonight. Let me congratulate and thank each of you. You have had a vast impact for good on our region and our world. We could not be more proud of you. As you saw in the film earlier, the Nazarian College is receiving a growing number of kudos. I won't repeat the long list, but most observers of higher education would say the Nazarian College is among the best in California, is respected nationally, and most importantly, is climbing. Let me mention some accolades that came in recently. Our thriving Master of Science in Taxation program was named a best value in graduate accounting programs and made the list of the top 25 taxation programs in the nation. While, as you have just seen in the film, our undergraduate accounting program rose this year from number 19 last year to number 3 in College Choice's national rankings. We were not only the only California school on the list, just the best. No wonder our students are now being sought by recruiters at some of the top firms in America. The driving force behind these achievements is our capable and committed faculty and staff, many of whom are with us tonight. Could I ask Nazarian College faculty and staff to stand to be recognized, please? The faculty, staff, and students of the college are not resting on their laurels. With your generous help and support, we are expanding and launching exciting programs to meet market needs. Our entrepreneurship program, started last fall, is off to a great start. The stunningly successful bull ring competition was made possible by the generosity of alumnus and advisory board member Jeff Marine, Jeff has stepped up to sustain the competition's funding for the next 2 years at a level that is the envy of some of the top entrepreneurship programs in the nation. Just as an aside, I have a son who completed an entrepreneurship degree at a highly ranked entrepreneurship program just this year. And when I mentioned to him that our new venture competition had $50,000 in prize money, his statement to me was, "Yeah, Dad, why don't you just make me feel bad about my program?" This year, thanks to advisory board member Paul Jennings, we will be recruiting from among the nation's top faculty in that area for our second endowed chair, the Paul Jennings Professorship in Entrepreneurship. We will be launching a real estate center and are going through the process of approval for a Master of Science in Real Estate program. Thanks to advisory board member Harvey Bookstein. Our Bookstein Institute of Taxation and Higher Education has attracted top faculty and offers the greatest depth and breadth of taxation education and service to the community that I have seen at any university. From its volunteer income tax assistance program, the first in the nation and one of the largest, to the Bookstein Tax Clinic and a recognized tax journal. Chuck and Lisa Noski's recent amazing gift for scholarships is enabling us to support accounting students at a level never before seen at CSUN. Another strategic priority is providing our students and faculty with ready access to sophisticated, state-of-the-art, and, yes, expensive technologies, databases, and analytical tools that are needed by the businesses of today and tomorrow. We are also committed to creating enhanced opportunities for women in business and broadening our students' international understanding, exposure, and experience. Now, I couldn't close without acknowledging the phenomenal contributions of our dear friend and benefactor, David Nazarian, and his remarkable family. Many of the nation's and the world's best business schools bear the names of those who have left a legacy by endowing their alma maters with a naming gift. Yet never in my more than 30-year career, yeah, I'm getting old, have I seen such a donor who has invested himself as fully on every dimension as has David Nazarian. His constant presence on campus, his obvious caring for and wise guidance to our students has justifiably given him rock star status among them. The poor man can hardly get away from campus with so many students clamoring for the opportunity of meeting and interacting with the one who has so benefited and inspired them. David's wife, Angela, has been a powerful influence in her own right. Not long ago, our female students filled one of the largest spaces on campus, nearly to overflowing, as they gathered to be taught and motivated by her gripping and inspiring presentation on women in leadership. Her individual outreach to numerous female students is creating vision and transforming lives. David's dear parents, Eunice and Soraya, his sisters, Sharon and Shula, and his brother, Sam, are among our sponsors tonight. I'm pleased to announce 3 new ways in which the Nazarian College and the CSUN community will benefit from the generosity of the Nazarian family. First, many of you are aware that Soraya is an internationally acclaimed sculptor whose works grace many prominent venues around the world. In the near future, a stunning new creation, imposing in scale, majestic in scope, and deeply moving in the beautiful message of diversity, hope, achievement, and promise that it communicates, will take its place on the grounds of Juniper Hall. Tonight marks the first public announcement of this stunning addition to our campus, and I hope you will come, see, and feel, as I have, its profound message once it's installed on campus. Additionally, Eunice and Soraya, will be providing laptop computers for hundreds of our students who could not afford one without their help. Finally, thanks to David's determination to support faculty, I'm happy to announce a new infusion of support for faculty research, bringing investment in that vital area to 2.5 times what it was before we became the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics. Please join me in heartfelt recognition of and appreciation for the wonderful Nazarian family. Additionally, David has opened his Rolodex to us. I'm showing my age. Rolodexes don't exist anymore. At any rate, you know what I mean. At least those of you who are old enough know what I mean. A few months ago, David introduced me to Wendy Gruhl. Tonight, I'm delighted to announce that Wendy has joined us as an executive in residence and a strategic advisor for external relations. In her capacity of executive in residence, she joins our longtime friend, Advisory Board Chair and Heritage Society President Dave Malone, in bringing immense experience, wisdom, and benefit to the Nazarian College. For 10 years, Wendy served in the office of Mayor Tom Bradley, acting as a liaison to elected officials, city departments, and the community, and as a key advisor on such public policy issues as education, housing, and homelessness. She worked in the administration of President Bill Clinton as Deputy Director of the Interagency Council on Homelessness at the Department of Housing and Urban Development. She has served for 7 years as a member of the Los Angeles City Council, for 11 as Los Angeles City Controller, and she was the first woman to advance to a Los Angeles mayoral runoff. Earlier this year, Mayor Eric Garcetti appointed her to chair the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority's Board of Commissioners. With Wendy's background and network of connections, she will be an important ally in our efforts to enhance the reputation and visibility of the college. She brings a passion for advancing opportunities for women in business and a willingness to share her deep understanding of regional economic and social issues as a resource to students and faculty. I invite you to join me in welcoming Wendy Gruhl as the newest member of the Nazarian College team. Wendy, I know you're here somewhere. Please stand up to be acknowledged. Thanks to you all for your phenomenal support of our students. I ask for your continued investment in a bright future for them and the tens of thousands who will follow them in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Lord. And Wendy, welcome. She's been a civic leader for so long. We're very lucky to have her with the dean, with the business school now. Many of our fabulous 50 have found that the connections that they made here at CSUN among the alumni during and immediately after their time at CSUN have served them well in their careers. Will the following group of Fab 50 honorees please rise for their recognition as I call your name? And again, please hold your applause until the end. Yolanda Macias, class of 1988 in finance. The aforementioned many times David Malone, class of 1981 in accounting. Jeffrey Marine, class of 1982 in marketing. Andrea McClure Miza, class of 1983 in marketing. Cindy McLaughlin, class of 1996 in accounting theory and practice. Richmond McMurray, class of 2003 in accounting with honors, by the way. Philip Mundy Jr., class of 1971, Business Administration. A fellow you've heard about before, David Nazarian, class of 1982 in Business Administration. And Wayne Pearson, class of 1973, also in Business Administration. Give them all a nice hand. Now, we all know that another great partner in the CSU system, and especially for Cal State Northridge, is the state of California itself. And we have a message, a special one, brought to us tonight by California Senate President Pro Tem Kevin De Leon. Now, Kevin De Leon is a civil rights organizer and accomplished state lawmaker. He is the first Latino elected as President Pro Tem of the Senate in more than 130 years. How's that for an accomplishment? And prior to his Senate term, he worked as an advocate for teachers and public schools with the National Education Association and with the California Teachers Association. He is the first in his family to graduate not only from college but also from high school. And he has a personal understanding of the importance, therefore, of educational opportunities. Would you welcome, please, our very special guest this evening, Senator Kevin De Leon. Senator?
Thank you so very much, Bill, for that very wonderful and kind introduction. And I want to thank each and every one of you for the incredible opportunity to just share a few words with each and every one of you. Bill I would just want to, again, thank you very much for what you do on CNBC and giving us the business analysis of the country as well as the global world. I want to give a very special thank you to the president of Cal State University Northridge, and that is Diane Harrison. Diane Harrison, thank you so very much for what you do. Let's give it up for Diane Harrison, everybody. I want to thank you very much for what you do at the national and state level in elevating the Cal State University system, but especially the CSUN campus in San Fernando Valley. You are a bright spot in California. Thank you for what you do. You're incredible. When we had the first opportunity to have dinner over at Gene Block's house at UCLA, when we brought all the, or not better that you and Gene, but all the Cal State CSU schools in LA County to talk about a larger vision for our students here in Los Angeles County. I remember that, and I talked to Tim White, the chancellor, and it says, you got a great one at CSUN. So let's give it up again, one more time for Diane Harrison. I want to give a very special thank you to our good friend, the man, the reason why we're here today, and that is Mr. David Nazarian. David Nazarian, quite an incredible individual. Incredible because he has given $10 million, as we know, as an incentive gift of $25 million, which is quite incredible today at the CSU system. Now, first time last year, when I heard about this gift, let's be frank with each other. This type of gift usually goes to a private institution or to a UCLA or to a University of California at Berkeley, or goes to USC, or goes to Brown, or it goes to Stanford, or Georgetown, or Yale. And the fact that David Nazarian, an alum, I should say, from CSUN, has given this amount of money and has challenged everybody else to match it, speaks to this dedication to all the students here in California, but especially those at the lowest economic strata. Because the reality is this, with the growing demographic changes in the great state of California, the beautiful mosaic, the diversity of who we are, which, by the way, is a strength and not a weakness, because of the hue of our skin, because of the language that we speak, because of our legal status, Everyone deserves an opportunity to succeed. Everyone deserves an opportunity to access an opportunity. And the thing that I like about David Nazarian so much, and why his major donation means so much, is that his belief is that your future should not be predetermined based on your zip code. He believes that irrespective, again, of the hue of your skin, irrespective of the language you speak or your country of origin, your zip code, your legal status, that every single student in California deserves access and opportunity. That if you're from Brentwood, well, good for you. But if you're from Boyle Heights, you deserve access to a fine academic institution. If you're from Palisades, lucky you. But if you're from Pacoima, you deserve access. If you're from Santa Monica, I envy you. But if you're from Santa Ana, well, you deserve access to higher education. I'm making this up as we go right now because I'm not following this teleprompter at all whatsoever. Because this is who we are as the greatest state in the greatest nation in the world. And it is education that is the greatest equalizer that we have in a society that continues to be stratified, again, based on zip codes. As Bill just mentioned, I have been given an incredible opportunity to lead the California State Senate as the youngest child of a single immigrant mother with a third grade education. And it was my mother who had a very strong work ethic. And it was my mother who cleaned homes in the wealthiest enclaves in America, in La Jolla, California. And if you were to ask my mother, may she rest in peace, Carmen, when you came to this country, did you want to clean other people's homes? And she would probably say sarcastically, oh yes, that's what I really want to do. I wanted to come to America and go to La Jolla and clean other people's homes and take care of rich people. But the thing is that society dictated what she can do and what her limitations were because of the lack of access to education in her native country. And that's what happens here in the United States of America, and that's what happens here in the great state of California. Having access to education, a solid education, whether it's K through 12 or higher education, whether it is the Cal State University system, whether it is the UC system or a private, independent, nonprofit college. It is the key to success and economic opportunity. It is the greatest equalizer that we have. And this is what David Nazarian believes in. Because $25 million to a Cal State University system, it's unheard of. Let's be frank. It goes to the Browns and the Yales and MITs, University of Chicago's, and if it goes to a public university, the UCLA's and the University of California at Berkeley. He staked a claim in the ground, and he says, this is an institution that I come from. This is an institution that I believe in. This is an institution I believe in the students themselves, that they can make something of themselves if they have access to the tools and instruments, if they have access to those academics who can give them the tools to succeed. And I want to thank you, David, for everything that you do and for the belief that you have in our students in the greatest state and the greatest country. Let's give it up one more time for David Nazarian. This is a monumental change because David and I were on the same page when it's about accessibility and opportunity. Again, irrespective of your zip code, because it has an opportunity to transform our lives. It has an opportunity to make something of ourselves. And that has an opportunity to make you the future entrepreneurs, the businessmen, the managers, the consultants, the nonprofit executive directors, elected officials, whatever you may want, whatever you desire. And this gift is an incredible gift because it is an investment in the young men and women of the great state of California. And Diane Harrison, you have done an incredible job being at the helm of a very fine academic institution that every year is really growing in stature and reputation. CSUN is a wonderful institution. What you have done is transformative because you will be changing lives. in providing the instruments, the tools, the wherewithal, the knowledge and experience for young entrepreneurs to really grow and transform our society as we know it today. And because of my commitment that I have to the CSUN as well as the CSU system, this year, in 2016, we will have 20,000 brand new enrollment slots at the CSU system throughout the great state of California. And guess what? They are for California students only. So to David and your lovely wife, Angela, thank you very much for what you do for all of us. Thank you for what you do for San Fernando Valley, for Los Angeles, for Southern California, and for the whole state, and especially even the nation. Because again, this is a donation that goes beyond the great state of California. Again, you're transforming lives. You're giving folks hope and opportunity and accessibility. I thank you once again. Diane, as well as my good friend David Nazarian, thank you for what you do. And the great state of California thanks you again. With that, thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Wow, that was great. Thank you, Senator, very much. I'd like to introduce our last group of the fabulous 50 attendees here tonight, and as I call your name, please rise for your recognition, and everybody hold your applause, it says here. Jeffrey Reinstein, class of 1985, Finance and Real Estate. Jeffrey Rosen, class of 1983, Accounting Theory and Practice. By the way, Jeffrey also earned his master's in accounting at CSUN. Alan Schneid, class of 1990, Accounting Theory and Practice. Richard Schweitzer, class of 1987, Accounting Theory, Practice, and Finance. And this is them holding their applause. Melvin Wilson, class of 1977, in Business Administration. Mark Wolf, class of 1979, in Accounting. And we've had the pleasure of dining with Mark and his mother, Janet, who's here tonight supporting him as well. Laura Yamanaka, the class of 1978 in Business Administration. Andrea Zeckler, class of 1983 in Business Administration. Give them all a great hand. By the way, one interesting distinction about this last group of the Fab 50, we have a brother and a sister who've both achieved success through the Nazarian College. Andrea Zeckler graduated from CSUN in 1983, and her brother Richard Schweitzer followed her footsteps 4 years later. Congratulations to you both. Now, each of the Nazarian College's 55,000 alumni has a compelling story to share about how their CSUN education helped them on their journey to extraordinary success. Tonight, we asked one of them to share a few words on behalf of the Fab 50 honorees and the CSUN business alumni. He couldn't be here, so we asked Earl to fill in anyway. I told you I was going to say that. My good friend Earl Enzer is managing director in the private services group of Goldman Sachs and Company. He received his bachelor's degree from CSUN and his MBA from Northwestern University's Kellogg Graduate School of Management. Now, during his 30 years with Goldman Sachs, who spends 30 years with Goldman Sachs? That's amazing. Earl has built one of the most successful private wealth advisory businesses in the industry. His connection to CSUN is both professional and personal. Not only has Earl served as chair of the CSUN Foundation Board of Directors since 2009, but he and his wife, Karen, met at CSUN as freshmen. Would you please, yes, give him a nice awe. That's right. Would you welcome my good friend, Mr. Earl Enzer?
Hello, everyone. As Bill mentioned, I was asked to speak, and I said, why would you want me to speak? And you might ask that question later on, but don't let me know if you do. But I think one of the reasons was I am one of you and a former student and an alumnus, but a part of my contract I had was I was going to speak after the dean. You just don't want to follow animal acts, kids, or politicians, and so I have a little bit of a beef with that. But since I went from Pacoima to the Palisades, I guess it's relevant to have that conversation. Well, it was Sepulveda, but it's close enough to Pacoima. Not called Sepulveda anymore, which I actually will reference a little bit later on. And I thought I really wasn't nervous about coming up here to speak. I get asked from time to time to speak on behalf of the school and whatnot. But then I saw all those students coming in. By the way, I have some prepared remarks and unprepared. This is the unprepared part, so let's see how it goes. Let me know, Sissy, give me the signal. So I said, I really wasn't nervous until I saw all these students come in. I said, that's the roughest crowd of all. And one of my friends before I came up here said, well, you've got 3 kids, 2 of them are in college, one's a graduate. You're used to talking to college kids. I said, I know, that's what makes me so nervous. This is the toughest audience by far. So Sissy, one of the recent graduates, told me, throw in a couple of pop references, but not too many. But you could do some, but not too many. And I think, okay, my whole speech, if I read it, it's like 9 Snap stories or something like that. She said, no, those would be too long. That's not good. So anyway, I'm going to go with what I've got here. Let's see how it goes. I do have a teleprompter, by the way. If I make a pause, you might think it's for dramatic effect. If I go like this, it's because I have to bend down to see what's on the teleprompter. So, okay, so here we go. Anyway, I wanted to thank Bill for that introduction. I want to thank David and Angela for all they've done for the university, and it's just been amazing. It's transformative, and we really appreciate it. CSUN has been providing students and our greater community with fulfillment abundant for many decades. Fulfillment's a word, when I sat down, and I knew I'd have to prepare something for this, the word fulfillment popped into my head because it's a word that means so many things. It's a great word in the context of what we celebrate tonight, and it's so applicable in the context of the great education and what it does for the student and what it does in impacting the world around them for generations to come. Education's fulfilling spiritually. It fulfills very basic things like requirements for a credential. It builds self-confidence, competence, so many things. A brilliant example of how CSUN's been fulfilling its mission for so many years is the 5 decades that Nazarian School's been helping people fulfill their ambitions for an education and to change their lives and to impact the community around them. As Bill sort of alluded to, I'm a Valley dude, I'm a Matador, I'm a Nazarian College alum. And while that's not unique in this room, I know from speaking with many of you tonight and before this event that being a CSUN alum is quite unusual in the peer group that we find ourselves these days. By the way, I looked around this room, there's so many amazing, spectacular people, both the Fab 50 and also just, I have to say, well done to the Fab 50. This room is filled with just amazing, spectacular people. And, I said to Sam, Sam, did you hire all these beautiful people to be here? He said, no, these are just friends and family of all the, we didn't, this wasn't, none of this is staged. I thought, there could be male models and female models, right? No, it's all just people that are affiliated with the Fab 50, so well done all. They asked me to share a little personal story of my experience post-CSUN, and a couple years after graduating from CSUN, I decided to go after an MBA. And I applied to the Kellogg School of Business that Bill had mentioned at Northwestern University. The school was ranked #1 at the time, and I applied to a very specific section. This is one that was only open to people that had business undergrad majors already. And you know, you had to have a business undergrad, plus you had to have good test scores, and you had to have good work experience, and you had to have personal interviews and letters of recommendation and all of that stuff. And there's only 60 people that qualify that for each year. I think it's still that way today. And when I got there and found out, you know, most of these people attended the most elite institutions, the most elite undergraduate programs that there are. And as I mentioned before, I'm a guy from Sepulveda, now known as North Hills, so I think that sounds a little polished up, which I'm very happy about. And a product of the California public educational system, from elementary school to college. So the people you grew up in the Valley, you'll know Dearborn Elementary, Holmes Junior High, Monroe High School, Monroe Prep, Monroe High School Vikings. And I thought, and then Cal State Northridge, of course, and then I thought, how could I possibly succeed in that competitive cohort of people from all the top undergraduate business schools? You know the names. Well, I quickly found out after orientation week ended and classes started that these elite kids were very well suited for the private school life. And they knew about wine, they knew restaurants, they knew these things. But when it came to the classroom, I ended up tutoring them in microecon, macroecon, production operations management, business law, and all. So thank you, Nazarian School of Business. And I mean, it was amazing. And I tell you, when I got out of school, I had the same kind of apprehensions when I joined Goldman Sachs in 1986. And I can tell you, same result. So the education that we've all gotten, the education you're getting today, is really top-notch. So one of the hallmarks of Nazarian College has always been that it sends graduates out into the world well-prepared and ready to work. They're humble, hungry, grateful. Their phones ring from time to time in groups. And they have that grit that's become so popular in fashion now in this very competitive world. You know, people talk about having grit. I think that's something that Northridge students tend to have. When I was thinking about when I came out here tonight, I'm not a public speaker. I'm using a teleprompter for the first time. I've got my backup cards just in case. But you know, we've all followed an unconventional path, for the most part, the people in this room, and succeeded. We've figured it out. And it's very similar today, the students that we have. If you look at the Fabulous 50, there's a lot of similarities. There's many people who are the first to attend college. Many, if not most, are working one or more jobs to put themselves through school. And they've overcome language and cultural differences. And they buckle down, they embrace student life, they flourish on campus, they dedicate themselves, and they succeed. Chuck Noski, Frank Heverdes, and Stefan Bota. How many got it right tonight? Yes, thank you. Are great examples of this. To show up on campus not knowing what to expect in a very different environment than they're used to, and they learn, they succeed, they commit themselves, and they flourish, and they go on to great things. And this group is a very, very good example of that. And I've gone a little off script, so I'm off my teleprompter, but I will get good with this in a second. So I also invite you to just look at that book, which I was really impressed by. I don't know how many of you picked up this book, but you know, I've sort of come to expect a lot from Northridge now, but having grown up in the neighborhood and attended the school, I just didn't expect a lot. But this book is wonderful, and if you read the bios, you find out we really got just an amazing group of alums. So now let me transition just for a second to an ask, if you will. We really need people to invest themselves in the future of the Nazarian College and the future of CSUN. Things have changed since we went to school. I think you're all probably aware of that, but you may not be. That when we went, Bill mentioned the $750 paying for college. It doesn't go too far anymore. As Sissy mentioned, wow, that would be great. So we're not really a state-supported school anymore. We're kind of partially, or we're state-assisted. We need everyone who's feeling the connection to Cal State Northridge tonight, and I hope you're out there. Are you out there? Yeah, okay. So if we're feeling the connection, you need to, or we hope you will, support your alma mater, support your hometown, embrace the legacy of the university, embrace your own, create your own legacy, enhance the brand value of your degree. And when you do that, when you step forward and you enhance the value of a CSUN degree, you not only help yourself, but you help everyone that ever went to the university, and you help everyone that's going to come after. It's just an amazing multiplier effect. So please get involved, give of your time and your influence and your financial resources. Be loud and proud. We really need that. We need people to get out and talk about their Cal State Northridge experience. You know, that was something when I went to Goldman and I would sit down in a conference room and maybe we'd be chatting about our alma maters, and there's Stanford, Harvard, Yale. Gets to me, Cal State Northridge. Huh, okay. And, you know, but meanwhile, like, you know, those people are working for me now. So it feels pretty good, you know, so. And I think it's a great story, right? It's a great story for all of us, and we should be very proud of it. You know, we should be very proud of where we started. So Bill mentioned I'm in the wealth management business. I'm getting a little off script, but I'll share a quick one with you. We have, over the years, we'll have these people come talk to clients, you know, very, very successful people. And they'll say, well, how many people want their kid to go to, you know, I've already named some of the schools. How many people insist that your kids are going to go to, you know, XYZ private university? And everyone raised their hands. And then she would say, and where'd you go? You know, I went to, you know, City College of New York, or I went to, et cetera, you know, I went to. And she said, you know, and this person's got $250 million. That worked out well for you, right? But your kid has to go to Stanford, but you went to, you know, yeah. So, you know, it's really about getting good education, dedicating yourself, and working hard. And, you know, this room is a bunch of people who have done that. So, as I said, please get involved. Lift up CSUN and its bright, hungry, humble, grateful students. We fulfill a very important purpose in the community. And when you do that, you'll be fulfilling a very important purpose as well, and you'll be fulfilling an obligation to give back. And our university is on the rise. I hope you know that, and there's just no question about it. The CSUN of our era helped each of us achieve fabulous, fulfilling things. And with our help, the CSUN of today and tomorrow will achieve even greater heights. So I thank you all. You're the pride of Cal State Northridge, so go Matadors. Thank you.
Well done, Earl. By the way, Stefan, I know it's pronounced Boda. I don't want to put it, you know, throw anybody under the bus, but it says on here Botha. So that's why I kept saying that. And Earl, I want to thank you. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. I don't know what you did, but our poor teleprompter operator had a breakdown back there while you were talking. So we're going to have to start over again, but we do appreciate Earl's passion and support for the university. Our next speaker, Alan Campos, is not the typical CSUN graduate. This is such a great story. In addition to taking a full course load as a business student, Alan Campos launched SCVI Repair. Now, this was a successful small business that offers repair services for iPhones and iPods and other mobile Apple products. His good idea and successful business venture earned Alan recognition by the LA Chamber of Commerce as Young Entrepreneur of the Year in 2014 at the Small Business Awards and Conference. Now, Alan often points to the networking and real-world experience offered by the college as a big part of his success. But he didn't stop there. He also added the title of philanthropist. While he was still a junior in school majoring in management, get this, Alan established the Alan Campos Dream Big Scholarship, an annual award for a fellow CSUN student. That is remarkable. That is unprecedented. And to support that scholarship, he pledged $5 per repaired screen at the Northridge location of his business that was located near campus. He finished his degree at CSUN. It was the fulfillment of a promise to his mother, Blanca, to become the first member of his family to earn a college degree. And I'd say he fulfilled that promise and much more. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce to you this evening Mr. Alan Campos. Alan?
Thank you for the kind intro, Bill. I appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. It's exciting to be here with you to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Nazarian College. I'm proud that we've all taken the same path through CSUN into the world of business. However, I didn't know that my own path to entrepreneurship would start with a broken iPhone screen. When I was a student at the College of the Canyons in Santa Clarita, my screen broke. So I went to the Apple Store to get it fixed. My first thought was, you want how much to fix it? My second thought was to find a how-to video on YouTube, order the parts, and just fix it myself. After a lot of requests from family and friends to fix their phones, I saw the potential and spent about $200 to buy a desk from Craigslist, set up a website, a Yelp account, and Facebook page. I turned my parents' garage into an office and officially opened SCVI Repair. Within a year and a half, I had a retail location in Santa Clarita with 2 employees and opened another location in Northridge during my junior year at CSUN. Being surrounded by the students at the Nazarian College definitely helped me through my own studies and business aspirations. My classmates were motivated. You could feel the energy of their motivation. They wanted to do something after graduating, whether getting more education, starting a business, or just trying to change the world. The atmosphere was very competitive, and everyone had a voice, an opinion. And when you feel that energy around you, it really motivates you to do better. I was definitely ready to go. On the first day of school, some professors have you introduce yourself and say what you do. I'd always take that one moment to do a little commercial about my business. Hi, I'm Alan. I own SCVI Repair right across campus. So if you ever need your phone worked on, come see me. Oh my goodness, I would always get bombarded walking out of the classroom. But I always used effective marketing whenever I could. Going to school and having my own business meant I was able to apply the subjects we were talking about. Once my business was up and running, my next priority was to give back. I've been surrounded by a lot of good people in my life who would give you the shirt off their back. My whole purpose in life is to help others no matter what. I want to show that business can help out in the community instead of just make a quick profit. And I want to inspire other students to do their part by giving or volunteering. As long as my business ventures continue to grow, I'll continue to give back because I believe in CSUN and the Nazarian College. I'm not the only one who has the drive to give back, though. About 3 years ago, a CSUN College business alumnus named David Nazarian paid a visit to his alma mater. 6 months later, he supercharged his strategic plans for the college with a generous gift of $10 million. Literally one day, David rolled up his sleeves and went to work. He had done his research about the college and knew about its diversity. But once he became involved with the students, he shifted into a higher gear. David has become a champion for our students. He has helped move mountains to give them every advantage possible. David pushed the campus and the college to bring about transformational change. David has met and mentored dozens of students on an individual basis. One of his mentees, Carlos Martinez, he ended up hiring at NIMS Capital. In one of his first speaking engagements in the college after making the gift, he spoke to more than 400 management club members. From that point on, he has spoken to countless groups, large and small, graduate and undergraduate alike. David and his team at NIMS Capital invited in students from the portfolio management class to go over their equity selections and give them invaluable feedback. David realized that our students needed more financial modeling skills, so he and his team developed, design, and program that will give students the skills to compete with any financial graduate across the country. David has served as a judge for our business honors case competition and as a judge for our bull ring entrepreneurship competition, and is using the resources at NIMS Capital to support the winners. David's financial commitment to the college and university is incredible. The real gift has been his presence and his impact to his personal involvement to take the college to another level. He has done this on the most personal level with an investment of his most precious resource, his time. Mr. Nazarian, would you please come to the stage and tell us why you made this investment and what have you seen since becoming involved at the college.
Thank you, Alan, for the kind introduction. And wasn't that terrific? At the rate he's going, I expect that there will be an endowed chair with his name on it sometime in the future. President Harrison, Dean Lord, thank you so much for your leadership of the university and the college, and for your kind words. What a special evening it is to celebrate our 50 fabulous alumni, who has been so much both professionally and philanthropically for our community and the nation. I'm honored to be included amongst you. In the past 50 years, our business school has given a strong foundation to so many students, and our goal is to continue this momentum and take this school to another level to meet all the challenges of the business world today. Now I have a question for all of you. How many of you have been visited CSUN lately? What has surprised me is how many alumni have not gone back to visit the campus. And I have to admit, I was one of them. It was 3 years ago that I happened to go on campus, 31 years after graduating. I couldn't believe all the changes around me at CSUN. The video doesn't do justice to the beauty of the campus, and the facilities are state of the art. I could also see that the school has gone through a tremendous change in the makeup of its student body. They come from every background on earth and bring an energy and vibrancy to the campus that you can feel just walking around. It was that first visit that ignited my passion to get involved and give back to my alma mater. This has been the best thing I've done in my life, besides marrying Angela. And having 2 wonderful boys. After that's the best thing that I've done. Honestly, it's the best thing I've done. CSUN holds such a distinct position in our community in many ways. If there is one factor that I could say is a leading contributor to the health and progress of a society, it would be the strength of its middle class. A large middle class lowers inequality and brings more stability to a society. Now, what's essential in creating opportunities for mobility in the middle class is education. When we talk about education, we are really discussing access to affordable and quality higher education. This means there should be a distribution of schooling across the population that rewards hardworking, intelligence, and talent among students regardless of gender, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status. With the rising cost and growing burden of paying for a university education, many young people find it harder to take advantage of this opportunity. This is why state schools have become increasingly important, as they provide one of the best and most affordable education available. Unfortunately, with all the budget cuts in California, state schools have felt the squeeze, and most of all, and it comes down to us, those who have benefited so much from CSUN and who have paid so little to attend, or who have benefited through the steady supply of talent and engaged citizens that CSUN produces. We must support this mission. CSUN College of Business and Economics, which I'm honored to have named after me, is a tremendous training ground for the thousands of future business leaders that walk through its doors. But it can be so much more. With new capital investments, we are looking forward to attracting the best professors and faculty members and to strengthening a culture of personal excellence with all of its programs. On the personal note, I would like to share that the most rewarding part of my experience so far has been interacting with the students. When I first gave my pledge, I asked to meet with an assembly of 20 low-income students at the school. That meeting was transformative for me as I listened to each of their stories and the obstacles facing them. I was also moved by the student dignity, their integrity, and their commitment to make a better life for themselves and their families. By the end of the meeting, the students had come up with some ideas and recommendations to improve the students' body experiences at school. These kids formed task forces and came up with action plans, which were readily implemented by the dean's office. This simple anecdote showed me that listening and empowering the students is one of the most valuable tools in strengthening the culture of the college. And in turn, I also saw how incredibly responsive the college was in instituting changes to improve the lives of its students. There are so many ways you can impact the lives of these promising students. You can volunteer to participate in Professor of the Day program. You can serve as a mentor. You can provide internship and work experiences, or perhaps become involved in the committees. Of course, you can also write a big check. We wouldn't turn it down, I promise. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the college to all those who have been supporting CSUN all these years. I also want to thank my dear parents, Soraya and Eunice, my siblings. Thank you. My siblings, Shula, Sharon, and Sam, my wife, Angela, and our boys, Philip and Eli, my friends, and my in-laws for supporting me throughout the years. They have provided a solid support system for me and have made me who I am today. Many of us are blessed with such a support system. Our students deserve this as well. Let us all work together in creating a community that enables them to thrive and flourish. Thank you for your support of this evening, the college and CSUN. Let us all continue to help lift Los Angeles and the world. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. At this time, I would like to invite President Harrison, Dean Lord, and my wife Angela to the stage to make a very special announcement and share some news about the future of the college. Can you please come up?
Thank you, David. It has been such a joy to have you return to CSUN and to lift our students to new heights and to lift our college to new heights. And I think sometimes tonight could hardly get any better. Recognizing 50 years of business excellence, celebrating our fabulous 50 business alumni, hearing story after story of success. And one of the true pleasures of being the president of a university with the impact of CSUN is when, in those moments, we see our great university making an even greater leap forward. This is one of those moments. I am so happy to announce that longtime supporters of CSUN and our College of Business and Economics are making an even greater investment in our students and their future success. CSUN alumni Harvey and Harriet Bookstein have pledged $5 million to establish the Bookstein Chair in Real Estate, to provide endowment support to ensure the continued operation of the renowned Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program known as VITA, which helps thousands of low-income individuals complete their taxes and get refunds, money which would be left on the table otherwise, and to provide significant support for the Leadership Fund of the college. In recognition of this transformative and incredibly generous gift, pending approval of the CSU Board of Trustees, officially they have to approve, I know they will, CSUN will rename Juniper Hall, home of the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics, Bookstein Hall. Harriet and Harvey, would you please join us on stage? So we want to capture this moment, so give us just a minute that we can take a picture, please. So, folks, wouldn't you like to hear from Harriet and Harvey?
I don't have a teleprompter, so I have my note cards. First, I would like to thank everyone for coming this evening to celebrate these 50 fabulous men and women that the education that CSUN and the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics has provided these men and women, as well as all the other graduates, is the foundation that has shaped their lives. All these men and women have gone above and beyond in their endeavors, and CSUN was their stepping stone. Congratulations to all of them. In regard to the gift Harvey and I are giving, all I can say is that we feel so fortunate we are able to touch so many lives in a positive way. Education is so important, and to have a great foundation can only lead the way to a better future. Harvey has always been passionate about real estate. Offering this new program at CSUN's David Nazarian College of Business and Economics will give many others the opportunity to either develop a passion for real estate or will help them develop the skills they need to achieve their goals. Through the years, CSUN has always been a hidden jewel in the San Fernando Valley. It is no longer hidden, but definitely shining brightly due to the hard work and dedication of all the people that have helped in the past, present, and will continue to help in the future. How wonderful is it to be able to accomplish this in our lifetime and to know that it will continue to impact future generations. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank my children. I have 7 of my children here, children and children-in-laws. If you could stand up, put the lights on. Put the lights on. Up, kids. Harry and I want to thank them for letting us give away a big part of their estate. So thank you very much. The lights on one more time. Mark, if you can keep standing. Lights up. This is my 34-year-old son, who's the only one that's single. He's in the diamond business and the high jewelry end business. He's very nice, kind, gentle, and he's a great catch. He's also the only one that hasn't supplied Harriet and I with a grandchild. So it's time to get to work. Thank you. When Harry and I talked about this gift, this is really outside our economic normalcy. This is not something that normally some of what we have in net worth would do. But again, seeing it go to other kids other than just our own, we felt it had a lot more meaning and a lot more value. And knowing my children that would accept this totally, because when we made our first gift, one of our sons, Joel, actually said he hoped someday he's fortunate enough that he could do it to his alma mater. If you turn the lights on again. Matt, where are you, Matt? Matt, and where's Rob? Okay, there's Rob. Okay. These two are the ones that put the hit on us all the time for raising funds. So even though it's not part of our contract for our pledge, the deal is for at least the next year you can't ask us for any more money. If we could also have, if I have Dr. Efrat stand up. There he is. He's an incredible professor. He runs the Bookstein Institute of Taxation. He's involved in the VITA program. He's done more for the school and for Harry and I than could ever be possibly imagined. In fact, just to give you a little note about Rafi, he was named the Professor of the Year of all of California for all colleges. And I know we already had them stand up once, but again, if all the students could stand up. You're seeing our future. This is our future. These are our future leaders, workers. These are individuals that hopefully someday will be standing here doing exactly the same thing, because if you're lucky enough to be able to do something like this, you've got to take advantage of that luck and do something about it. Thank you very much. Now if I can have all the alumni stand up. All the alumnus. We have all had the experience of knowing how good CSUN can be. And I know we're all here today to recognize it. So thank you to all of you. And if I could have all the professors stand up. These are the individuals that are going to give the students their future. So I applaud you for what you do and how you do it in such a great university. And if we could have the administrators stand up. We've got our president, we've got deans, we've got fundraisers. You know, it makes a team to make anything work. It's not an individual, it's not one company, it's a team. And under President Harrison's leadership, we have an incredible team. Incredible team. And we all should be very proud of it. something to be very proud of that we can be part of. I notice many times I wear my CSUN jacket and people will recognize it. At one time, it may be considered embarrassing to wear CSUN because it wasn't a name school. Today, you wear it with pride because this is what people are going to want to be able to go to school to. This is where they're going to want to go. This is not going to be a last choice. The hidden secret, as Harry indicated earlier, is kind of gone. The secret's out. Now the only problem is to make sure we don't have too many demands because the campus can only handle so much. When I went to school, the state paid approximately 90% of the budget of CSUN. Today, I think it pays closer to 30%. Even though it's not dropping right now, it's kind of stabilized. You can't provide the same kind of education if it's not being paid by the state. It's got to come from other sources, whether it's higher rates for students have to pay, which is challenging, whether it's from donors, it has to come somewhere. You can't just print it. I don't think Harry and I ever believed how lucky we'd be at this point in time of our life. We have shared a great time together, great life, have a lot of common interests, have a lot of different interests as well. She doesn't yell at me that much. But it's really been a fabulous ride the two of us have had. And one thing we decided we want to do is try to help society a little bit and not wait for our death to have it happen through our foundation, but kind of do it while we're still alive. I've always been an underdog my entire life in growing up. And so to have an opportunity to be able to make this kind of gesture is something that Harry and I never believed was even possible. We talk about all the time how fortunate and lucky we are to have what we have, to have the family we have, to have the opportunity to have a kind of business and personal life that's intertwined. You just can't imagine or think about it. I'm extremely passionate about how lucky I am in life. And I don't know what to say. It's just amazing. I always believe that giving money is always something that people do it at death, or they'll do it regrettably. They don't really want to do it. I think everyone has to have a lifestyle, and there's no right or wrong lifestyle. As Mike like the Senator said, we live in the Palisades of Pacoima, that's where you are. So Harry and I are not ones that drive fancy cars. We don't have a fancy home. We don't buy branded clothing. We don't go first class when we fly. Because we have to analyze. We have so much money, and what are we going to do with it? And one thing that Harry does talk about going first class, I always said to her, there's a choice. First class, jewelry. I think it's obvious what that answer is. So we enjoy life by our standards. There are two things that we are very involved with economically. We're probably the largest collectors in the world of giraffes. We actually have 1,400 different giraffe pieces in our house, including some that are 18 feet tall. We have a giraffe at the zoo named Harriet. It's the only Harriet that lives at the zoo 24 hours a day. And so to me, I think it's finding ways maybe not to have that latte one morning and put a little money away to charity. Even the students, giving away $1, $2, $5, $10. It's just an indication of appreciation, of doing something that's not required, that's not necessary, you're not being scored on. And for us that are older and that we've had some experiences, trying to make a difference now. As I always say with my kids, I like to see them enjoy their inheritance. And one thing that we've done recently is we've given all our kids, we pay all their education for our kids and grandkids. We pay for all their medical expenses, so they don't have to choose to take a secondary choice that they may not normally have made except for the money, and give them a chance to have a higher opportunity to do well in life. I've always lived my life with care, heart, passion. I always like to see others rewarded. I'm always one that likes to see others do better than myself. I think it just makes you feel good when you give a check, whether it's a check like David Nazarian did, or it's a check that someone gives a $1,000 gift. It makes you feel good. It's just something that, you don't get points for, but it just feels good. And so for me, I just believe, and for Harriet, we believe that there's a lot to do in helping others less fortunate. And even our will and trust, we have 4 children, but our will is divided in 6 sections, 6 parts, 1 to each child and 2 to charity. And we do that because, 1, we think it's important, and 2, we're trying to get our children to understand the same thing. The one thing that I love more than anything is my wife. And one thing she said here on the way today, when we finally said, God, we made this gift. How are we going to do this? She said, this is going to I said, well, we can't buy this anymore. She says, no, we're not changing lifestyle. Not changing lifestyle. So just to make sure it doesn't change too quickly, here's something you open later on. There's a little piece of jewelry just to make sure. You got to keep a balance. You got to keep everybody happy. It's all got to work. But truly, my heart, and Harriet's heart, is really helping those less fortunate, giving kids an education that will give them an opportunity to have as good of a life as we have. Thank you very much.
So how fantastic was that? Thank you, Harriet. Thank you, Harvey. Nice touch on the gift to Harriet. John, did you notice that? Yes. Okay, as exciting and amazing as that was, we have more thrilling news. So fasten your seatbelt, brace. When David and Angela made their gift to CSUN of $10 million, they and the college launched a campaign to raise $25 million for the college. Their gift, and Harriet and Harvey's wonderful gift tonight, and the gifts of other philanthropic visionary leaders continue to make a profound difference for the college and for our students. Would those who are present please rise for recognition as I call your name? Paul and Adrian Jennings. Chuck and Lisa Noski. Eunice and Soraya Nazarian. Ken and Anna Floyd. Stefan Botha. Richard and Julie Schweitzer. Jeff and Joni Marine. Howard and Ellen Press. Moss Adams, thanks to partner Martin Hughes, Tax Defense Partners. Got that wrong. Tax Defense Partners, thanks to founder Brian Compton. And thanks to these and many more generous supporters, I have another exciting announcement, and that is, Ladies and gentlemen, we have exceeded our $25 million goal. This is really a first for a single college at CSUN. The Nazarian College of Business and Economics is a leader. I will tell you that future generations of students will benefit from the investments made in this college. What a great way to start the next 50 years of a college, but it is only a start. So I do remind you, now is the time to invest. And they're making me tell you this at the end of the evening. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't. And that is that Dean Ken Lord and others from CSUN and the foundation, our development officers, will contact you in the weeks ahead. Actually, they'll contact you tonight if you would like to do that too, to talk to you about how you can, in the same way that David and Angela and Harriet and Harvey and so many others have invested in our students and are changing the face of business in Los Angeles. And I encourage you to have those conversations with those who call you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Wow, right? I mean, if you're not inspired after all of that, you're not paying attention. With its storied history during its first 50 years, the Nazarian College has opened the door of opportunities for thousands of students on their way to changing the face of business in Los Angeles and beyond. On behalf of the David Nazarian College of Business and Economics and of CSUN, we thank you for celebrating with us on this memorable night. Hopefully you'll join us in shaping the college's next 50 years. We have more coffee and sweets in the back of the room. You're welcome to stay and enjoy. I am asked also to tell you that the flowers, the centerpieces, are yours to take with you. You can decide how you'll divvy that up. If you don't, just know that Harvey's going to give them to Harriet. So you might as well take care of that yourself. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and have a wonderful evening. Good night, everybody.